Welcome to Azure Kubernetes Deployment Series Part 12. In this series, we are going to learn how to use Helm chart and Kustomize to deploy applications into AKS cluster through Azure pipeline. In the last lab, we have already discussed how to use Helm chart and Kustomize together to deploy applications into AKS cluster through command line tools. So today, we'll focus how to automate it using Azure pipeline. So yesterday we in the last lab we have already discussed how we can set up the uh, repository and where how we can apply our overlays, how we can create the base folder and the overlays, and how we'll generate through command line this deploy.yaml file. So this will generate by using the command that I have mentioned here. We can see. So this is the command that we use to generate the deploy.yaml, and these are the command where we can review our manifest file, and these are the commands where we can apply it into AKS cluster to deploy the applications. So these commands, whatever we have mentioned here, that we will use in Azure pipeline to provision the to deploy the applications into AKS cluster. So if we'll go to the VS Code. Here you can see these are the pipelines I have already set up here. You can see I have created a config pipeline that this will do two things. It will publish the artifact, and then it will deploy to that config manifest file into different environments like dev, test, and prod. Similarly, for order pipeline, I have here there are mainly two stages. One is for build stage that will create the Docker image and push it into the AKS cluster, sorry, Azure Content Registry, and then it will publish the artifact. The other stages will deploy into the different environments uh, like the dev, test, and prod. So that is repeated for all other uh, pipelines. But in case of RabbitMessage we are not creating the Docker image. We are directly referring it from the uh, Microsoft Content Registry. So if we can see uh, how we are just using this both the Helm chart and the Kustomize. So here you can see like these are our my Helm charts, and under this Helm chart I have included the base and overlays folder. So under base, I'm just mentioning the customization, and under overlays, I have other customization where it will use this changes that I need to update with respect to that environment. For example, for dev values.yaml, I'm just mentioning replicas 1, and for test it is 2, and prod it is 3. And this will be applied to the base customization where I'm using deploy.yaml here. So it will apply to this. Okay, and this how we will generate this deploy.yaml? It will be generated by using this template. I have already this manifest and values, right? So using this, it will generate this deploy.yaml. We can see these are the command that required to generate the deploy.yaml file, and this deploy.yaml file we are going to override by using the overlays for each of the environments. Okay, so that we have already yesterday we have verified, and have done that now we are going to automate it using Azure pipeline. Okay, so if we go, so this is a pipeline that I have explained. It has multiple stages. The stage it is used to in few stages. It will do the Azure. It will build the Docker image and post into Azure Content Registry, and also publish the artifact. Artifact is nothing. It will publish this store Helm chart. Okay, into the agent machine, and from there it will receive this information, and from there it will try to deploy into the cluster. Okay, so and if we see in one of this pipeline, if you go here and check how we are deploying, for example, if you go to the dev deploy stage, right? We are calling deploy.yaml file, and it will come to this template. Here what we are doing, we are passing the image tag, because in this scenario we are storing our Docker images into Azure Container Registry. In previous lab we have just pushed it to the Azure Container Registry, but with um, uh, some tag, that is v1 tag for uh, each of the images. That is kind of manually we have specified that tag. But in this case, since we are automating it, so it will automatically take the build id as the tag, and it will append to the image of that service. So if you see here, under this deploy, for example, if we go to one of these service, and if you go this deploy ml, you can see here the image here. I'm not mentioning any tag here. You can see here it is empty here. I have not mentioned any tag for this, but this can be appended by the pipeline while deploying into AKS cluster. So that can be done in this deploy.yaml, and this image tag I'm passing from the pipeline here. For example, if you go to this, and if you go to this dev stage, I'm passing this image tag. So this is nothing the build id of that pipeline. So in this deploy, it will come to here, and in this task what we are doing is, I'm just taking that from the artifact, I'm reading that particular file, deploy.yaml file. Okay, and I'm just replacing or just appending at the end the image tag that we received from the pipeline in that deploy.yaml file. So this way it will just dynamically add the tag to the deploy.yaml file that we are going to install into the AKS cluster. So this task is basically to replace the deploy.yaml file with the build id tag. The next step here, it will install. So how it will do, it will just use this kubectl customize, and it is for to this is for only to view that, and the second one, this will use to apply. Okay, so we are using kubectl apply that deploy.yaml file. Okay, I mean whatever is there under that. Okay, so under this folder, I mean under base folder. So in base folder, what is we have under the base folder is deploy.yaml, and kube is there. So it will take that, and it will apply this. Okay, it is nothing same. What if you see these commands, right? It's nothing. It will be same as what I have mentioned here. Okay, so these commands. Okay. But here I'm just passing as dynamically the environment, what environment is going to deploy, so that I have just mentioned here. Okay, and here I have put one condition here. This is because for config and rabbit message queue, we are not creating the images. So just to avoid that, I mean just to skip that, I have just put this condition. Only it will replace in the order, product, and storefront services. Okay, and in this case also I put one condition. If it is not config, right, then it will deploy it from the overlays environment specific uh, folder. Okay, I mean it will go to any of this, I mean it will be overlays, for example base, then it will come to overlays. Either it will check dev, prod, or test. So it will select any of this here. Depending on this, it will deploy. Okay, only for configuration it will take from the base folder, and for other environment it will take the respective environment, and from there it will take create that apply that manifest file. So this, yeah, so this all these are the pipeline that I have updated for deploying the applications into AKS cluster through pipeline. And if you see here, if you go to my um, pipeline here, I have already run these pipelines. Okay, this is waiting still. Let me just approve this one. It is deploying to test environment. This one is storefront. It's going to still it is deploying now. And if we come to the Azure portal, and if we see here, if we refresh, we can see we have order, product, and storefront, and it has different versions. So these versions are nothing the build id that we are dynamically adding to the while creating the Docker images. We are adding that tag. Okay, and this tag we are going to mention in our deploy.yaml file while running the pipeline. Okay, so yeah, so if you see, one more thing I want to show you. If you can see here, this is the config pipeline that is deployed into all the environment. This is the publish artifact, then it will deploy into the all different environments. And this one is the rabbit message queue. This is also publish fast, then uh, it will deploy into different environments. And for order pipeline, you can see it has one extra stage here. This will do not extra, but in the same stage we are doing build and publish, and all others are into deploying into the AKS cluster with respect to the respective environment. Similarly, for product, this is already done, and yeah, for test it is already deployed. And let me just give permission to the prod environment. Now, if you come, you can see here in if you see get pod from dev environment, we can see here one instances of each of the services are running. And if we go to test, so two instances are running in this test environment. Okay, so here, as I already discussed, right, we have already overlays that in the respective environment, and here I'm just mentioning that number of replicas. Okay, it's so accordingly it is creating the deploy.yaml file, and this is getting deployed. Okay, similarly, now if we see here, our pipeline, yeah, still is going on. Yeah, almost done. And here, if you see, right, if you come here, we can generate. We can see I'm just displaying this latest manifest file that what is going to deploy. You can see replica is 3. Okay, and it is appending this front. You can see the image, and this is the tag it is getting appended. But if we see in the deploy.yaml, it is there is no tag mentioned. It is empty here. Okay, yeah, that is yeah, that I mean it is again getting appended during the deployment. Okay, so similarly, if we run for prod, we can see 3 instances of each are created. Now, if we want to see if the to verify the application, we can do kubectl get service from namespace, for example, prod. So this is storefront service. So here, if you see, this is my load balancer IP, and this we can use to access the application. You can come here and just browse this using port 80. Sorry. Okay, you can see here. So the application we are able to browse here. Okay, you can do something. Anyway, we are not discussing all these things. What this application does, we are only focusing on how what are the different ways we can deploy the application into AKS cluster, and its advantages and disadvantages. Okay, so now we so in this lab and also in the previous lab, we discussed how we have used this Helm chart and Kustomize together. So as I told in the previous lab, there are two ways we can combine or use this Helm chart and Kustomize. One way is the Helm chart, fast Helm chart approach. The second one is the overlays, fast overlays approach. We can see, I can show that here. I have already explained here. You can see two approaches: template fast, that is nothing, the helm chart fast, and second one is the overlays fast. So template fast means what we are doing, we have already existing template, and in that template, I can go here, we have these are our my templates. Okay, these are templates, and I'm using this template, and using this template I'm creating a manifest file in the base folder, and that I'm overriding with extra information. Okay, so this way it is the template first approach. But there is another approach where the overlays first, I mean we will use the templates. I mean, if you go here, we will discuss that in our next lab, how we can implement that. So in the second approach, we'll take the templates, and we will generate the template. Here we are using the template and overriding with the overlays. But in that case, we'll take the manifest files first, and we update it with different environments, and using that we'll create the Helm chart template. Okay, so that we'll discuss in our next lab. That also will do how we can do it manually and through pipeline. Okay, so for today, that's all about the uh, how to use Helm chart and customize uh, in template first approach. So both we have done using manually and also using Azure pipeline. Okay, so that's all about today. If you have any questions, any feedback, just let us know. And if at the end, if you are following, try to delete this by using this command. Let me do it for my portal. So yeah, so that's all. Thank you so much. See you next lab. Thank you. Bye bye.